changing. And in those tires. Alright guys, how's it going everybody? BigPasta Gaming here once again today for an early Tuesday stream. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Tuesday stream. Or Tuesday. Thursday. Get my T's mixed up. I don't. Well, I just did. Oh no. Already off to a confusing start. Anyway guys, today we're playing Man Eater. Today we'll be going until 7. I do have to take a break for about an hour to an hour and a half. So I gotta go run an errand around 2 o'clock, so in about a little less than 4 hours I'll have to transition off of here, so but then I'll be back on after I finish that for the rest of the night, so yeah. But anyway, guys, welcome to the stream. Appreciate y'all so much for coming on, for coming to watch me. I just crawled out of bed, so I got things to take care of, namely feeding my cat. I think she's gonna want some food, but yeah, y'all give me like 5 to 8 minutes and I'll be right back ready to play the game. God, I've been having a lot of dreams. I have like one really long, in-depth dream every single night, and it's so exhausting. I hate it. I've told you guys before, I don't like dreaming. I like dreams, don't get me wrong. I just don't like my dreams. So, but anyway, this morning's dream, because I sleep primarily in the early morning. This morning's dream was about I was gambling at a casino, or my mom was, and I was with her, and I reserved a table for her, and she's like, oh, here's $100, you know, play, get familiar with the gambling game, you know, all that. And I figured out how to make a bunch of money off of it without actually having to do any gambling myself, because I figured out I could just loan people, I could loan other people at the casino money with an interest rate all through the app, and they would have to pay me back regardless of if they won or lost with that money. And so I would just be sitting, and so I would borrow money and then loan it out, and then they would return the money, and I'd pay off what I borrowed, and I would keep the interest. And so by the time my mom came back, which was like 10 minutes later, I had already made like $700. So that was pretty cool. And I was like, look, I figured out how to break the system. But Yeah, and then there were other. That was the only cool part of that dream. There are other parts of the dream that were a little more, were just more stressful. I don't remember them because, years and years of this, and I've learned how to block out all of the stressful parts of my dreams so that I don't remember them when, after I wake up. So, but yeah, guys, I gotta feed my cat. I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta grab some food. So, or at least grab some coffee. I think I'll grab a glass of coffee for myself. Or orange juice. I could do orange juice. Orange juice will make me sick. It's acidic. A sick dick. A sick dick. No. Um. What am I doing? Be right back. Kiwi. And in those tired eyes. I think we ate Coco's food already. Oh, she doesn't get any food then. I gotta be back, go to the bathroom and all that. Be back, guys. Give my water too. And What? What? God damn it, Kiwi, I spilled my drink. You're blocking the way. God. Oh my god, Kiwi, go. Oh my god. Holy crap. Alright. Hmm? Kiwi, what? Hi. Your shirt is actually a thermal regulator. Thermal regulator. Just like a cat's coat of fur. Kiwi, do you want food? Hmm? Yeah. Who wants some kiwi? Kiwi. Didn't eat any of it. Go eat. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Hmm? Eat the food. Eat your food. Eat your food. Swear to God, this cat. When I'm in the kitchen, she's begging for me to come back. And so I come back and she's all like lovey-dovey with me and stuff, even though she's been in the room the entire night. Her food bowl's empty. Like, okay, she's had no food tonight. And she's begging for me, so she must want food. And every single time she leaves the hallway, so we have a door blocking there, she goes for the cat food. Like, first thing every single time she goes out there. So I'm like, okay, she's hungry. So I have my own bowl of food in here. I have my own food container in here. So I get a cup of the dry food, put it in her bowl. I do half in the morning, half in the evenings. And I put it in the bowl. I pour the food. She goes to take a bite of it, right? She goes to the cat bowl, as you would expect. I leave the room to wash my hands because it's the cat food residue on my hands. I gotta wash it off. Like a 20-second task. I come back, she has stopped eating her food. She's on the chair near my door, waiting for me to return and meowing at me, trying to be all lovey-dovey. She doesn't eat the food. What that proves is the instant I walk away, she stops eating. I don't understand. I don't understand. She's hungry. She's a cat. cats have no concept of group activity. So yet she stops eating, and this is what she was doing with the wet food, or like a couple weeks ago. And then I come back, I sit down, and I plop her right in front of the bowl again, and I tell her eat, and then she starts eating. My God! But that's the thing. Like earlier this week, I don't know how loud this is. Oh, yeah, we don't need a master volume at that loud. There we go. Hopefully that's fine. Subtitles, tutorial. Okay, this brightness doesn't change anything. Yes, ray tracing. But yeah, she freaking... Earlier this week, I do my college work on the dining room table, and I read at the dining room table, and I have most of my meals at the dining room table just by myself. I just like being out there. It's a change of pace from my room, but plus easier to focus out there. So my room's... I have my room set up like, most of it, half of it's my bed, and the other half is this home theater setup that's specifically dedicated towards my TV and my chair here. It's not really the kind of environment to do homework or read a book or anything, so. Anyway, so I go out there. I pour Kiwi a bowl of food, and then I leave. She spends half of the day being in the dining room with me, begging me for food. She spends that half of the day going to the other cat's bowls of food, which are empty, begging me for food, or begging my brother for food. She's begging for food for half of the day. And I'll come in my room to grab something, my phone or something, and I'll look at her bowl that's in my room. It's full. A full bowl of cat food. And it's the same kind of food. It's the exact same kind of food. I'm just feeding her in here. She refuses to eat it if it's in my room and I am not there, especially monitoring her. She spends half the day in here, or she spends half the day out there begging for food when she has immediate access to the bowl of food in here. So I'll come in here with her. I'll grab her from the dining room. I'll put her in here. I'll be like, shut up, eat your food. I put her in front of the bowl of food. She starts eating. I leave the room. She follows me. I don't understand. She's starving herself just because I'm not there to babysit her when she's eating. I don't understand. Like right now, she had stopped eating when I left, but when I came back, she started eating, and she ate half the bowl. She ate more than half of the bowl of food in one sitting because I'm sitting right next to it right now. But she won't do that if I'm not. I don't understand. It's not just a simple like, oh, I want to eat dinner with you. It's, I'm going to starve myself if I'm not eating dinner with you. I don't understand. Like, I get, like, if, okay, you have like a romantic partner and you want to do everything together and you want to eat together and you're not going to eat if you're not together, that sort of thing, right? I understand that, but it's human beings, right? You can communicate that and figure something out, right? Plan around your schedule. It's a cat. It's a cat. I don't understand. It's a cat. Where did she even get the concept of not eating if I'm not there? I don't. Where did that even come from? I don't. She's the only one. She's all of the other cats that I've ever had. I pour them the food. I leave the house entirely. They'll eat the food by the time I'm back. They'll have finished it by the time I'm back, even if it's a 10-minute jaunt to the store. They'll finish it because they actually eat at a specific time and they're actually hungry. I don't understand Kiwi. It's like she's not hungry. She'll eat by herself if it's out in the normal eating area. So I think it's more of an association thing with her. She's so used to eat, even though I've had her in my room for over a month. Even though when I first got her and brought her home after adopting her, I kept her in my room for like half a year. So she's used to being in here. The room's not organized the same, but it's still the same room. She's used to being in here. She initially got introduced to food while being in here, while being in this room. And I've had her in here for a month. And feeding her every day. She knows not to get food out there. She knows that she has to wait for me to wake up. She knows when I wake up. Because she gets out of the window and she's all excited and she's kneading the blanket that I'm using. She knows. And yet when I feed her, she doesn't eat. So I think it's an association thing. I think she's so used to eating in the dining room that she cannot fathom, like it's such an irregularity to eat food in my room for some reason, that she, like, it's like a sense of safety or something. Like, she thinks it's not, like, if I'm not there patting her on the back saying it's okay, the food's not poisoned when it's in here, don't worry. I'm even using her same bowl that she's been using her whole life. She's been eating out of the same one cat bowl. I brought it in here. And she goes to the other cat's cat bowls when she's out in the dining room. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, enough about complaining about that. Anyway, guys, we're playing Shark. We're playing Shark. So this game's called Man Eater. I don't know why it's called Man Eater, guys. What could they be thinking? Is it a game about a sexy woman who seductively seduces men and then gobbles them up afterwards? Is she a succubus, a vampire? Is that what this game's about, huh? What do you think, guys? Oh, the music's kind of mellow. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. Truth Quest. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, I gotta go in, what's it, about, it's 3 hours and 20 minutes or so. That's good. Am I running the PS5 version? I'm gonna check this. Yeah, I am. Okay, cool. But yeah, I gotta go in about 3 hours or so. I ordered. I'm sure you guys don't care when I actually start the game, so. Anyways, as you guys know, I've been reading this book series. It's Ascension of a Bookworm. This is like the first time in a long time that I've actually been like engaged in reading. So it's really good. The last time I was engaged in reading was Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. That was only one book. And then There really was no other time before that, actually. So I'm not a reader. I'm not a reader. I kind of wish I was interested in like literature and stuff, but I'll start reading a book and it's interesting, but I'll get like maybe halfway through it, and then I'll put it down for a week for whatever reason, and then I'll never pick it back up again. But this book, Ascension of a Bookworm, it's a book series. It's actually, not only is it really engaging, and I can read a bunch in a sitting, but it's actually really easy to pick up. As long as I force myself to start it again, or pick up where I left off, then I'm right back to it. I'll read half the book in a day. Which actually reminds me, I need to put in this refund request. So, okay, basically, like 2 weeks ago, I ordered Amazon. I ordered two of the books from Barnes and Noble. I was like, okay, I'll get them shipped to store. I got a special deal over there, so they're cheap. And yeah, I had one of the books on the computer on Bookwalker. It's a ebook website, and I was like, okay, I'll order them now so that they should ship by the time I'm done with the computer book. I got done with the computer book, the one on the computer, a little early, but okay, where is it? Return or release items. Missing or broken parts or item defective. Let's see here. Some pages were misprinted. Missing 2 chapters. With lack of quality insurance. Is assurance a word? I guess it is. QA is quality assurance, right? I didn't know that there was a word of assurance. No. Refund to my MasterCard. Estimated refund timing within 7 days. Okay, cool. I want a Kohl's drop off. You do not need to return your package. You do not need to package your return or print a shipping label. Kohl's will pack, label, and ship your return for free. Just bring the item in its original manufacturer's packaging. If you assemble the item, please disassemble before returning. We'll email you a return shipping code. Print out or show it on your smartphone to the store associate. That's so nice. Confirm your return. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a picture of this, I guess. Bada bing, bada boom. Sorry, guys, I'm. Macro? What did it mean by this? Why do they. Why is this so small? Well, I'm gonna have to figure that out. Later. Yeah, anyway. So, okay. I ordered the books, and on the website it says 3 to 4 day shipping. I waited 2 weeks, and so about a week in, I like, okay, they haven't sent me like an email or anything about it, which they're supposed to. And so I called the store, and I asked them, hey, have you gotten this book in? My order in? And they're like, oh, is it Ascension of a Bookworm? And it's so embarrassing, because this stupid book, God, it's an, okay, I don't know if I explained the plot of this to you guys. It's an isekai about an adult woman who's a librarian. She's obsessed with books. She dies early. She's like my age, right? And she dies, and she gets reborn in a fantasy world. And she's born as like this little girl, like a 5-year-old girl. So anyway, she's reborn as a 5-year-old girl, and right now in the books, she's like 8 years old, I think. But her character is a young female child, but she has the mind of a 20-something-year-old woman in that child's body. And the child herself, the child's physical body, is very frail and weak and small. But she's the main character. And so every goddamn book cover, not only is it freaking some weird weeaboo Japanese book, right? It's a light novel, but it's also every single cover of every volume of this book series has just a blue-haired little girl on the front, and like just zoomed in, blown up. It's just her in various poses. It's ridiculous. The book is not lewd. It's not like pedophilic in any sense. But you show the book to an outsider, and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, what are you reading?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm reading this," and it's an anime picture of a little child. How do you guys think that looks to people? I know people don't judge sometimes, but I'm still super self-conscious about this. So anyway, talking to the store associate, all of that. Okay, so talking to the store associate, I'm like, "Hey, I ordered these books. When are they coming in?" And she's like, "Oh," it's always a girl on the phone. And she's like, "Oh, is it Ascension of a Bookworm?" And I know right then, if she knows the title of the book of my order, she can't just tell me whether the order is in or not, right? The order of books. She has to go on to list the titles of the books. And I know for a fact that if they know what the title is, then they're seeing a preview of the front cover of the book. So she's seeing and she's judging what kind of book this could possibly be, especially since it's some obscure title in some obscure genre that nobody knows about. It was a very popular anime, but I mean, it wasn't a popular anime. That's the thing. It wasn't a popular anime. It was a well-reviewed anime, but it wasn't necessarily mainstream. We're not talking Attack on Titan here or whatever, right? Like if Attack on Titan had, you know, children on the front cover, then people would be like, oh no, but that's it's normal, right? But no, for something like this, it's like it looks like a niche, but in like a bad way, Anyways, I'm super self-conscious about this. Not only that, but there's a problem with my order. A week after I ordered it, the girl's like, oh, it's not here yet. It might take a while because it's being shipped. I'm like, okay, I guess. And so I got to a point last weekend where I couldn't wait anymore. I had finished the book like a week prior on my computer. I'd finished all my college work. And I was like, I just want to read my book. So on Sunday, I ordered the book. Or I ordered a copy of the book off Amazon. And I'm like, okay. I ordered the copy of the book off Amazon for a higher price. And I'm like, okay, I can just return this if my books ever show up. And I only ordered one of the books. On Barnes & Noble, I ordered two. So I ordered the first one of those two off Amazon just so I had something to read. Ordered on Sunday. I did all my homework on Monday, like a good boy. And then, on Tuesday, it arrived. Super happy. So on Tuesday, I crack it open. Tuesday and Wednesday, I get through half the book. Fantastic. But then, Wednesday being yesterday. So yesterday, I was reading the book. Yesterday, I was reading... Okay, so this is a long process. So yesterday, I was reading the book. And I got to page 160. And I read page 160. And I turned the page. And the next page is 140. And I'm starting to read. I didn't notice, and so I'm starting to read, and I'm thinking, hey, this is familiar. Then I look at the page number. They reprinted previous pages onto these next pages. So instead of page 161, which was the continuation, I got page 140 again. And then just went on from there. So there's this entire batch, there's this entire section of the book that's repeated. And so I'm like, okay, oh my god. And so I skip through, and then I get to the end of the repeated section. It's page 160 again. And then it jumps forward to page 177. And something wild's going on. It's like the climax of a future chapter. It's like, oh no. So there's this giant gap. So basically they misprinted the book. And so now I'm missing about 2 chapters worth of content. So I can't continue the book. I'm looking throughout the whole book. The rest of the book's printed normally, which means that these missing pages that got printed over aren't going to reappear anywhere. It's like, no. So I can't continue the book. And it's such a huge jump. Like, if I was missing 2 pages, then it's like, okay, I could, it's like when you get a used book and one of the pages is ripped out. It's like, okay, this sucks. I'm missing something, but I can deal with it. In this, I can't deal with it. It's just too big of a gap. It's almost a 20-page gap of content that's missing. So I'm like, oh my god. So Amazon really screwed up on this. So I hate it. It's a lack of quality assurance, is what I put in the comments for it. So, although they said that they can't, they said they won't, the refund policy isn't determined based off the comments that I put or whatever. So it's like, okay, whatever. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, I'm missing the book. I can't read. It's like 2 in the afternoon. I can't continue my book, which I really wanted to. I was going to read that book for the rest of the day. I was going to finish the book. I'm like halfway through it right now. But I was like, okay, whatever, right? So I'm like, okay, I already have this one and the next one ordered off Barnes and Noble. Where the hell are those, right? It's been 2 weeks at this point. And so yesterday I called Barnes and Noble. I'm like, hey, where's my book order? It's supposed to be in. You guys said it wasn't in. And so there's a different girl on the phone. She looked it up and she's like, oh yeah, it came in last Thursday. I'm thinking like, are you freaking kidding me? Like literally it came in like a day after I had called the last time. Unbelievable. She's like, yeah, the books came in last Thursday. So but I didn't get an email about it, mind you, which they were supposed to email notify me about it, which they didn't. And if they don't email notify you, they're supposed to call you on your cell phone, and they didn't. And so they're like, oh yeah, your books came in, but since it was last Thursday, your hold on those books expired. So we had to reshelf the books. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? So I'm like, okay. So I don't have the reservation on them anymore, but they're in the store. So I asked her, are they in the store at the very least? And she's like, okay, well, nobody's bought them. Let me go check the shelves. And she checks the shelves and she's like, they're not there. I'm thinking, great. Okay, they're not on the shelves. And I'm like, well, where else could they be? Because I know Barnes & Noble's store layout. So my mom works there. And so I've been there a few times. And so I'm like, okay, do you guys still have it in inventory? Where would it be? And she's like, oh, I can check somewhere else. And so she checks somewhere else and she's like, yeah, I'm not finding it. And I asked her, like, oh my God, my books. Where could they be? I asked her, where could they be? And she's like, okay, it could either be in the way back, or it could be in inventory, or it could be on the manga cart. And she had asked me specifically, she was like, are they manga or are they light novels? I'm like, it's light novels. And she's like, yeah, well, they're not there, so they could be in the manga section, or they could be on the manga cart that needs to be shelved, because they're really behind over there. From what I hear, it's worker shortage and all that, right? Like, imagine having to organize a big old library, public library, and organize all those books that are coming in if, you have, like, one person doing it, right? It's not going to get done, like, ever. So it's just too big of a task. So anyway, that's the problem they're dealing with over there, because they got to deal with customers most of the time. And then phone calls and reservations and all that. So I'm like, okay, just... So I'm like, okay, so I'm thinking... I asked her, like, or I told her, like, well, do you think, like, you guys might have them available if I were to go over there today? And she's like, if you help me look for them, haha. I'm thinking, like, damn, she's gonna have a customer come in and help the employee look through their catalog of books for my fucking books. So I'm thinking, like, it's a you can laugh at it. It's a testament to how, like, understaffed they are. So obviously I want my books. So I wouldn't mind, spending a half an hour over there helping them find their books or whatever. I don't know why they would make a joke about that to a customer, to be honest. But anyway, so I told my mom all that happened because the books are ordered under her name, because she works there. So she had them reserved when she was working one night. And so I told her, I'm like, man, your store's a mess. And so she's like, yeah. And so she called over there, and she had one of her coworker friends and a manager and a third employee. They all, apparently three people, all looked for my books, which I felt really guilty about. Because, I'm having, because, it's like I'm having all of these people look for my lost books. And my mom was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. You're a customer. They're supposed to have your books for you. This is their job." And I'm thinking like, yeah, but still, I'm making three people plus the fourth girl who I had called earlier all look for my books. All look for these two obscure novels that I want. And so all three of them looked, and they said they couldn't find it, but then they gave my mom a call back a little while later and said that they did find them, and it was on the manga carts of books that needed to be reshelved. I'm like, great. So anyway, I'm going. That was later last night though, so I'm going over there today when I get off stream in 3 hours. I'm gonna go over there to pick up the books. I've been doing some work for my mom, so she's buying them for me, so that's really nice. And then I'm gonna have her order the next 4 or 5 of them so that I can read, because I'm burning through these books. Like, I love these books. I'm actually reading them so fast that I feel like I'm gonna finish the entire series by the end of the month, to be honest. So it's expensive, these books. I mean, even with the discount I'm getting, they're still like $10 a pop for these books. And there's, I think, 12 that I'm purchasing in this series. So that's over $100 worth of books. Of course, my mom's getting them for me, because I've been doing work for her. But yeah, no, it's expensive. But the thing is too, it's like it's gonna end. That was the feeling that I got when I read Overlord. The books were fantastic. They were genius. Overlord is such a well-crafted story. But or it's such an ingenious story. But with Overlord, it ended. I ran out of books to read. I was sad. It took me like 3 months to read through all the books because those were thick novels. I read them on my phone. But yeah, it ended, and I had that empty feeling. It's that same empty feeling I just had when I beat Elden Lord or Elden Ring, Elden Ring, Elden Lean, the Elden Ring. I've been watching so many Elden Ring videos, so many of them. It's 120 hours in that game. I got the platinum trophy, by the way, for that, guys. I did my save scum for Elden Ring. With Elden Ring, okay, so you guys know I did my second playthrough, and I was like, okay, I can't finish this on stream because I have to exit out and re-enter the game like 3 times and upload my save and all that, copy my save and stuff and figure all that out. So anyway, I put that off for a week, but anyway, I did it the other day. I actually got up and did it, and I was able to do it. The thing is, I was stuck on the final boss still. I was in my Melania outfit, and I had my sword, my katana, and my mimic, but I was message popped up on my TV. They're like, "Oh, you're using a bright setting for an extended amount of time." I'm like, I'm not even looking at my TV right now. I'm staring at my I'm staring at my pillow. But yeah, anyway, I Elden Ring. Yeah, that's right. I couldn't beat the final boss on stream last time. And I was like, okay, it's late, I gotta get off. Whatever. So anyway, I got back on the other day and I was still having difficulty with the build I had. So, what did I do? I was like, okay, I'm failing. I failed like 3 or 4 times, even with the mimic. And so I was like, okay, screw this. So I went to the queen in Elden Ring. I respect, and I just dumped all my points into health, equipment load, and strength. All my points, and into holy resistance. And so I'm like, okay, fantastic. So I have like 80 vigor and like 80 endurance and like 60 strength. I'm like, fantastic. So I can put on my full um omen killer armor. It's a nautical suit with all the barnacles on it. The old time like metal scuba diving suit. Something like you'd see in like the SpongeBob movie, right? You guys remember the SpongeBob movie with the where the bad guy was just a guy in a nautical suit with the helmet and the full body gear and stuff, and he grabbed SpongeBob and Patrick and all of that. That it's one of those, right? So anyway, you guys remember I put that on, that suit of armor on, but it was too heavy for me. So anyway, with my new build, it wasn't heavy for me, and so I wore that, which is like maximum defense, and then I put on damage mitigation, everything, and then I equipped my giant hammer. And so I went into the fight, went to the final boss, and I summoned my mimic. And so now we're both like just these invincible tanks with giant hammers. And so I just completely floored the boss. Like, first try is not even a question that I just crushed the thing, especially with the mimics. Such an easy fight. Strength builds are so overpowered in that game. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I beat the boss. And then I did my save scum tactic and I got both endings and they gave me the platinum trophy. So now it says on my profile that I completed the game 100% in 1 month and 5 days, I believe. So about a month. If I hadn't taken that week off between, then it would have been a month. So Elden Ring, yeah, it was 120 hours. Lasted me a full month of playing. That's while I was unemployed too. Who knows how long it would have taken me if I had a job every day. But yeah, anyway, it's super fun. But yeah, anyway, and finishing Elden Ring and knowing that I don't have any more content to do and it's over now. It doesn't have to be over. People replay these games to infinity, but it's just I'm sad. I'm sad to see it go. It's this feeling of, you guys know that feeling when you've watched a great TV show or a fantastic movie or read a really good book start to finish and it's over. And then it ends and then you get that feeling of it's over, and it's that feeling of emptiness. You want more but there's no more left. It's a feeling of emptiness. It's you know and you grieve over it a little bit because it's like it's over, it's all done. You were a part of this fantastic experience and now that experience is over. And it's a sad feeling. It gets you that feeling of grief, of having to let go. I don't want to let go of Elden Ring. I don't want to let go of, what else have I had to let go of? My relationships. Uh, What have I had to let go of? Overlord. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had to let go of Overlord. He came out with a couple more books since then, but it's like, well, first of all, they're not translated. But I mean, it's like I'm not gonna re-jump into the series for one book, right? So I'm just gonna wait a decade, and then hopefully he'll have finished the whole thing. So, but yeah, and then I was rereading Hunter x Hunter while I was waiting for my other books. Hunter x Hunter is another series. The manga artist has it's still going on, but the manga artist has like a lot of health problems, so he hasn't made any new chapters in like 3 years. And so I was just rereading the old chapters, and it made me feel sad because I have to let go of it. It's that feeling of loss, that feeling of grief, and I know that once I get to the end of Bookworm, of Ascension of a Bookworm, which probably within the month, unless I start getting busy again, but probably within the month, then I'm gonna feel sad because it's gonna be over. And I know the books are still going on, but these books only come out like once a year. It's like I'm not gonna wait once a year for these. These books, they're not the best thing ever, right? It's not. I'm not saying, hey, this is a 10 out of 10. This is the next cult classic. I'm not saying that. These books are far from that. It's such a simple story, and it's the way that it's told is so simplistic. I mean, it's the only reason I like Ascension of a Bookworm is because I am like, it is exactly the kind of thing that I've wanted from Isekai. Because the thing is, what I've wanted from Isekai was, because most Isekai out there, you guys know what Isekai means, right? It's born in another world. So you guys think of, I mean, God, what's the most popular Isekai? I guess Sword Art Online is kind of an isekai because he's part of the normal world, but then he's in this video game world, right? So anyway, there's what's the most popular? I wouldn't classify that as an isekai necessarily. Anyway, it's where you're a regular human, right? Like right? You sitting in your room watching this on a device or whatever. You it's you in a normal world, in the normal world, in the normal life, but then all of a sudden you die and your soul gets transferred to a fantasy world with knights and swords and bows and magic, right? In medieval fantasy, one of those kind of worlds. I love that genre, but the thing is, most anime that do that just simply use, they ruin it. The most anime that are isekai ruin it because they use the genre as an excuse for a main character, normally a guy, normally a teenage guy. He is overpowered for no reason other than, oh, God made him overpowered when he was reborn in this fantasy world. And then he uses his overpoweredness, like he's the most uninteresting character ever, but he uses his overpoweredness to just crush his foes, and then all the girls fall in love with him, and then it becomes a harem. Most isekais are harems, and I hate it because first of all, I don't like harems, but more focally, I don't like it when there's a bland main character who doesn't deserve it. That's the thing. He's overpowered, but he doesn't deserve it at all. That's the problem. He was just given all of this, but he's just some ordinary schluck who was uninteresting, bland. He still is bland. He has, these main characters don't have a personality, and on purpose, they don't have a personality. Because it's supposed to be like a self-insert thing. It's supposed to, I'm supposed to be sitting there thinking like, man, I could totally be this main character, be super overpowered, get all the ladies, right? It's supposed to be one of those. But every goddamn isekai is like this. It's structured, it's written the same exact way, just with a different looking character and different looking powers and different looking girls. That's it. It's so boring. That's what it is. It's boring to me because it's uninteresting characters who don't like each other, who aren't likable, and people don't like these characters for any other reason than the author wrote it in that way. It's like, yeah, I could say like, oh yeah, I could write on a piece of paper a story about how, oh, the average American was just boringly going throughout his life, and then all of a sudden one day all the girls in the world fell in love with him. That's the story. That's the story. That's what these anime are. It's just it happens for no reason, like almost no reason. And it's annoying. It's absolutely annoying. And me talking about it is annoying, I'm sure. So anyway, Ascension of a Bookworm. First of all, it's a girl protagonist. So you have way less of a risk of this being just some horny teenage boy's fantasy dream, right? Because every horny teenage boy has these fantasies of a bunch of girls liking him for no reason other than the fact that he exists, and him, and he's able to get a whole bunch of girls to like him. Basically, it's every teenage boy has that fantasy. Like, come on. So anyway, so this story, first of all, it's a girl, right? But the way the story is structured is, what I want in these isekai is the true perspective of somebody born in the modern world taking their knowledge into the fantasy world. I don't want them to just be overpowered. I want them to use their their modern knowledge of technology in order to give them an edge in their new life, and use that as an advantage in order to overcome their challenges. I mean, the closest example I can think is Code Geass. In Code Geass, and this isn't spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it, but Code Geass remains to be like one of my favorite anime. Like top 5 for sure. Because Code Geass, he's a normal guy, but he's intelligent. That's the thing. He's intelligent. He's intelligent and strategically minded, but he's just some. But other than that, he's a high schooler, and he has this goal that is way beyond him. But he gets one supernatural power, the Geass. I won't spoil what it is, but anyway, he gets one power, and it's not a power. It's not like, oh, he's overpowered and he blasts his enemies, right? It's just this very minor power. It's still an overpowered thing, but it's this very minor power. And he's this intelligent kid who's using solely this one power and his intellect in order to outsmart everyone else and, take on the world as his enemy. Like, it's a brilliant story. I think it was very well done. I mean, obviously it could have been, it's not like a master class or anything in writing, but Code Geass is great. But it's because it's this guy who has one advantage, and he uses that advantage to pursue an otherwise impossible goal. And it's great because good stories are exciting because the characters are weak, but they can still succeed. They can still persevere and succeed despite their weakness. That's what it is. Every single piece of advice you'll ever hear regarding story writing your characters will be write flawed characters. Nobody wants a perfect character. Nobody can relate to a perfect character. If you write a flawed character, then the reader wants to see that character succeed. And this is a fact of life, right? We're all flawed. We all have weaknesses, but we still all want to pursue our desires, what we want, even if it's the toughest thing in the world. I mean, I relate to that personally. We struggle because we're weak. But no matter how much we struggle, we want to succeed in whatever we do, right? And obviously, no, I don't want to, succeed in college and get a career and climb up the promotional ladder. That's not what I want. Some people want that. I don't want that. I want to succeed in my own desires. And I will struggle because obviously, if I want something, wanting something implies that you don't have it right now. And you don't have it right now because you were never in a position to get it right now because you're weak, right? Everybody's weak. Everybody is flawed. Everybody doesn't have what they want, and so they pursue that. We overcome our weaknesses and we struggle through our lives in order to get what we want. That's a story as old as time itself. I mean, like every human being can relate to that. So no matter what the desire is, and you can empathize with a character who wants something because you yourself know what it's like to want something and pursue that goal of that, right? If you don't want something or you don't want to put in the effort, then sure, it's like you didn't really want it, right? Again, this isn't like, this doesn't apply to everything, right? If somebody tells me like, oh, you got to go to college to be successful, it's like, no, like that's not what I want, right? So I'm not, even though I might struggle towards that goal, I don't want that, right? That's not me fulfilling a desire of mine. That's me being told what to do. It's completely different. So obviously this can't apply to like, if other people are trying to tell you what you need or something like that, that doesn't apply here at all. So, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, like I was saying, it's story writing. You have a character who wants something, right? We all have desires. We all have things we truly want. And so because of that, we pursue those desires. But we are weak. We are flawed human beings, so we struggle as we pursue those desires. Maybe we start off in a bad position. Maybe we have to claw our way up. Maybe the actions that we do prevent us from getting what we want, which is more of like self-sabotaging. I mean, there's 100 different ways you could write a character. But anyway, the whole ugh. Ooh. This coffee goes down so smoothly. This dark roast coffee from Starbucks, the smoothness of water, but that slight flavor of a deep roast. Yes. But it doesn't taste watered down. It's only the smoothness of water and only the flavor of coffee. It's all the good parts of both and the bad parts of neither. It's fantastic. Anyway, just drinking my coffee black today. But yeah, I actually haven't had coffee since last stream, so I think I'm only drinking coffee when I'm streaming. It's because I need to wake me. I need to pick me up. I don't need it, but it's nice to have. I like the flavor. Actually, I would actually drink decaf coffee, to be honest. Like, I might actually start drinking decaf coffee just so that I'm not caffeine dependent. I can still feel like I'm drinking coffee without drinking coffee, Anyway, for you guys who need the neurological stimulation of coffee, drink regular coffee, right? Decaf coffee, there's no point to decaf coffee, right? It's like a, although it's something that appeals to me. I don't want the or I don't need the caffeine. So it's like it's like with like vaping, or not vaping, but you guys know cigarettes, right? They have cigarettes, the regular cigarettes, and then they have e-cigs, which are it's an electronic cigarette, and it's reusable, and you put in like a cartridge inside of it, and that's what you smoke, and it recharges. I don't know exactly how it works, but there's a charging case for it and all that. But those were really cool to me. Um, Actually, I had a friend who was doing it back in high school, and he let me take a puff of it. So I didn't like it. It activated my gastritis. Actually, believe it or not, taking a puff of a cigarette activated my gastritis. So I never touched the things again. So I don't need that in my life. He was kind of pressuring me into it, but or he wasn't pressuring me into it. He was just like, "Hey, dude, want to try this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." Try everything once, right? But but yeah, I didn't. It didn't sit well with me physically, so I never did again. But but yeah, anyway, with e-cigs, they actually have most most of them sell the cartridges, the refill packs with nicotine in them because, cigarettes have nicotine. It's tobacco. But they actually have cartridges that don't have nicotine in them. They don't have any addictive substances. You're just smoking water vapor, basically. I thought that's really cool. I don't know who would buy this, but that's really cool. And so I got interested in that. I was thinking, like, man, I could do e-cigs, but just smoking water vapor. And they have different flavors too. They have like strawberry and lemon and like lavender. And so I was like, man, it's like inhaling like really sweet scented candles, basically, but just like in a large amount. So I don't know how good that is for your lungs, but it's water vapor, right? It's not too much. It's just like a base. It's basically just like a concentrated form of inhaling oxygen. So, which I don't know how harmful it is. It's not addictive, obviously, right? It's not. I'm not. It's no drugs in it at all. No chemicals necessarily. It's just water vapor and artificial flavoring. So I was thinking, like, man, I could do that, and then I could look cool, smoking my e-cig. No real smoke is coming out, right? It's water vapor, so it's like, you're boiling a pot of water, right, on the stove. It's that kind of vapor. It's whatever, right? It's a fidget, basically. I just put it in my mouth, and I take it in and out of my mouth, and I pretend to be cool, right? All without harming my body at all. So I was interested in that. So anyway, decaf coffee is like an e-cig with no nicotine. That's kind of what I equated in. You you feel you feel cool for doing it, but you're kind of too much of a wuss to have any kind of addictive substance in it, right? I'm not gonna get addicted to. I don't want to get addicted to cigarettes. Talk about an expensive habit. Same with alcohol. That's the thing with alcohol too. They make mixed drinks, cocktails, right? You can make a virgin cocktail, and I didn't know this, and I used to order virgin cocktails as a kid. Virgin cocktails are, it's the decaf coffee of alcohol. It's all of the different parts of the alcoholic drink with no alcohol in it. Because when you mix a drink, and I've mixed drinks before for my family, so you put in the different ingredients, you put in the alcohol, you shake it all together, you take a big bite. You shake it all together and you strain into a glass on the rocks, and you put a little umbrella in it, and it looks all nice. Put a little balance a little toothpick with a cherry or a pineapple slice on it and balance it over the middle of the cup. And there you go, right? Nice looking cocktail. Anyway, a virgin cocktail is you do all of that except don't add any alcohol, right? So I can give it to like my 5-year-old kid who likes Capri Suns because it's a fruity drink. In fact, I could probably make a cocktail out of Capri Sun, to be honest. Capri Sun. What could I do with Capri Sun? I can only think about adding alcohol to it. Honestly, I would do probably a bunch of ice, Capri Sun, um, agave nectar, a little bit of lime juice, and then I would throw it all in a blender. Maybe a little Greek yogurt in that too. I'd throw it all, and then I'd throw it all in the blender, and then I'd blend it up, and then I'd get this nice slushy consistency. It'd be a Capri Sun margarita. Put it in a tall cocktail glass and garnish it with a cherry and an umbrella. Even a little salt around the rim too. No alcohol in that, right? And I could give it to my kid, right? And if all of the adults are having alcoholic drinks, partying and stuff, and the kid wants to participate, you give him one of those, right? Or you can make him literally the exact same drink as his parents are drinking, just hold the alcohol, right? That's a virgin cocktail. So anyway, virgin drinks are it's an alcoholic drink without any of the alcohol. They make virgin beer, they make I believe they have virgin wine. I'm not sure. Any cocktail you make with vodka, gin, or whiskey, you can definitely do virgin instead. You just have to replace it. Shirley Temples are probably the most famous virgin cocktail because this is literally just it's Sierra Mist and grenadine, which is like a pomegranate cherry tasting syrup, and just mix it together. That's a Shirley Temple. I've made Shirley Temples for myself before. They're very good. But when you order a Shirley Temple, it's mostly the bartender will look at the age of the person who's drinking it, and then he'll make it virgin or non-virgin, depending on like if the person wants alcohol in it or not. So, but yeah. Anyway, decaf coffee, virgin cocktails, e-cigarettes with no nicotine in them. What was the other one? I thought there was a fourth. I don't know. Marijuana, but they just give you like instead of like marijuana leaves, they give you like maple tree leaves instead, or just blades of grass. They'll put blades of grass in a paper roll up, and they'll just give that to you. And you're 16 and you don't know anything, but you want to be cool like the cool kids, and so someone gives you a blunt rolled up with just a bunch of grass from their front lawn in it. and they're like, hey man, this is some real weed right here. And the kid smokes it, and he's like, oh man, I'm so high right now. It's fucking lawn grass. There you go. There's your there's your virgin marijuana here. Whatever. Anyway, what was I talking about earlier? I'm just laughing at the thought of a bunch of teenagers in like one of their mom's basements, just like passing a blunt around, and there's just a bunch of smoke, and they have bongs and stuff set up everywhere, but it's it's all filled with like lawn clippings. There's just it's like they didn't have any money for like the actual drug. So one of the kids' like older brothers was just like, dude, my younger brother is such an idiot. He'll fall for this. You know, and he gives him a bag of just shredded up lawn clippings and he's like, this is the real dank stuff, man. You can trust me, little bro. And the little brother's all happy, and he goes to the basement with his friends, and the older brother's just like laughing his ass off. Like that's 100% something I would do, to be honest. Like, man, if my kid was starting to be interested in like marijuana and really wanted to do it, that's what I would do, to be honest. And then he would be smoking lawn clippings, and he'd be like, "Man, I don't like this." I'd be like, good. Like, learn your lesson, right? Don't get into drugs. You know, that's what they actually do, right? If you get marijuana, or any kind of drugs, through a dealer, a big thing that happens is that sometimes they'll dilute the drugs with other stuff. I've seen it happen where they'll mix marijuana leaves with literal lawn clippings, as I was just joking about, and they'll do that, and then they'll just mix it all together, and they'll sell the bag like that, or they'll mix it in with other stuff to mask other things that are similar to marijuana, but that aren't like illegal necessarily. So they'll do that, and they'll do that because it makes them more money, right? Just like how they sell you the bag of chips, but it's like 80% air. That's instead of real chips, right? That's exactly what they're doing. Or you pay full price for like a 1 pound bag of marijuana. I don't know the denominations of how much you buy it, but you pay the full price for a pound bag of marijuana, and half of it is lawn clippings. But you don't know, right? Because you're some stupid teenager, right? Obviously, if you're buying drugs in this fashion. So, a lot of times they won't do lawn clippings, but they'll do other substances that are like way more harmful than marijuana is. So, obviously, like the legal shops here, or the legal shops in America and Canada, you don't have to worry about that. Like, they're giving you whatever percentage they say, right? Because it's government regulated, and there's FDA. I think it's FDA standards. Food and Drug Administration. It's got to be. I think legal marijuana is controlled by the FDA, so I believe so. I'm not sure, but anyway, they got to hold up to standards. So they tell you the percentage, and there's a market rate for it and everything. So, but those guys won't like chip you right. But if you get it from a dealer in a back alley, or at somebody's, at somebody's flat, then yeah, you got to be careful for the shady stuff. So obviously with like drug dealers, you got to find somebody you can trust, and normally it's through like a friend's recommendation or something. Like it's one of those things where you have to be social. In fact, I've actually seen it a lot on 4chan. People would be complaining, oh, my dealer left for my drugs, and I'm too antisocial to have any connections with anyone else. So now because I don't talk to people, I have to sit here with no drugs. It's like, man, imagine needing to socialize. Imagine needing to have connections with other human beings just to get what you want. I don't have to know the owner of the grocery store personally in order to go buy my groceries, right? So why do I have to do that with my drug dealer? Yeah, so anyway, this coffee is very good. But yeah, what was I saying? Before I drank my coffee, I was talking about something. Oh yeah, characters. So anyway, Code Geass is great, but yeah. So Ascension of a Bookworm is basically the same concept. It's I realized I haven't. What's it been? An hour and a half, and I haven't started the game yet, as usual. You guys know how it goes on this stream, but yeah, Ascension of a Bookworm. It's The premise of the plot is that it's this really little girl, right? She has the mind of an adult, but she has this little girl's body. And no, it's not perverted or anything in that sense or whatever. Basically, she's born into a class-based system. So, there's the king and queen, and there's nobility, and there's the commoners, and there's the peasants, right? Or it's a little different in this one, but it's still the same concept. You guys know medieval Europe. If you're born a peasant, you're staying a peasant, right? There's no real moving up or anything. You're stuck to your fate. You're would you defy your stars? That's a reoccurring thing. I think Disney had a lot of movies about that. Would you defy your stars? I mean, Mulan, the cartoon, not the live action movie. The live action movie, she didn't talk at all. It really put me off. It's still cool. It's a very high production film. But anyway, Mulan the cartoon, I never watched that one. But from what I understand, she was trying to defy gender standards. She's born a girl. Oh, your fate is you're a girl. You're not a warrior, right? You have to get married to a guy because that's all you can do, basically, right? And she defied those standards by being a soldier, and she had to disguise herself and stuff, right? So that concept exists. You have things like, God, what was the movie? I'm sure you guys have seen it. A Knight's Tale, I believe. A Knight's Tale. It was about this knight. I recently rewatched it because it was one of those movies that I saw in high school, and I was absent when they finished the movie, so I was like, oh, I want to watch this. So I picked it up back up. I believe it's a Knight's Tale. It's one where it's like one of those early 2000s movies where they put in like early 2000s music in it just to try to be modern, right? Kind of like how Shrek had those Smash Mouth songs in it, right? It's kind of like that. But anyway, A Knight's Tale was that as well. The main character dude was born as like a commoner, and he really wanted to be a knight. But knights were only the nobility, and the knight had to come from like a reputable noble house, a reputable noble family. And so of course this commoner dude who's like an orphan, he's not, I think his dad was alive, but they were estranged. The main character dude wanted to be a knight, but commoners can't be knights. So he defied his fate, and he disguised himself as a knight, and he proved him under a fake family name, and he proved himself in combat, and he won tournaments. And the big plot of that movie, the big plot conflict of that movie was the fact that he was disguising himself as a noble, which he was not. That's a class-based society. You guys think about class-based societies, and it's that concept, right? You're either born a noble, or you're born a commoner or a peasant or whatever, and that's the world you're in. You're stuck. A commoner can never become a noble. A peasant can never become a commoner, right? That concept. Ascension of a Bookworm is in a class-based society, and she was born as a poor commoner girl, and she's using her modern knowledge to, and she's bottom of the rung, right? In this story, she's using her knowledge of the modern world in order to give herself an advantage, in order to climb up in society to a comfortable position. Like, that's not her goal necessarily. Her Ascension of a Bookworm, it's about her being a bookworm and her liking books and her in a world. The whole premise of the plot, if you look it up, it's this bookworm girl who really likes reading gets born into a world where there are no books, or there's very few books. They're still copying books by hand, right? There's no printing press. There's none of that. Paper is very rare and expensive, and so is ink and all of that. And so she starts off lowborn, and she's trying to introduce printing and reading and ink and books into the world so that she can read books, because that's all she wants to do. She just wants to read books for the rest of her life. That's her goal. And so in pursuit of that goal, she has to climb through the ranks of society in using her modern knowledge, which is foreign to anybody else, right? Nobody's thought about, they're like, they're nobody's thought about printing books. Most people are illiterate in this world, so they can't read because there are no books to read. So nobody's thought about printing books. Nobody's thought about like making different recipes out of the ingredients that they have. So every recipe that she has, awes and amazes everybody. All of the different designs and products that she can come up with are modern day, like, common items, but in this world they're like, it's like the next best thing, right? And so the story is all about her bringing this modern knowledge into this medieval fantasy world, and all of these people being amazed by that knowledge. And I love it. I love reading about, like, she introduces some new thing and everybody's just like awestruck, and they can't believe that this thing even exists, and all this sort of stuff and whatnot. And there's certain moments in the story that are just so satisfying. And I don't know, I live for that kind of stuff, right? That's what I want in an isekai. I want the wonder of, it's that feeling. It's that feeling of, if you had a time machine and you went back in time to like the 1700s, and you showed George Washington your smartphone, his mind would be blown. I mean, there's no way that you can fathom that. Like, there's no way that somebody from the 1700s could process everything that a smartphone is capable of. Someone like Benjamin Franklin would have dedicated his whole life to dissecting that smartphone and trying to replicate it. I mean, it's like that level of technology, and that's just one thing that we have. What about computers? What about video game consoles? What about air conditioning units? I mean, air conditioning units didn't start existing until way after electricity was invented, right? These people didn't even have electricity. They were lighting their homes with candles, and they were drawing water from the well. There was no plumbing. I mean, irrigation was very crude. There was no logistics. There was no cars to transport people long distances. I mean, you take any modern invention and you get in your time machine and you go back in time, and whoever you show it to, their mind is just going to be blown. They can't, it's going to be that reaction. Everyone's thought about that before, right? Or a lot of people have thought about that before. I can't say everyone, but people have thought that before. Oh, what if I took my smartphone in a time machine and I showed this to George Washington? I showed this to Benjamin Franklin, right? Even if you took it back 50 years ago, people would have their minds blown, right? Our computers that are giant, they're the size of a room, can now be compressed to something that goes in your pocket. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how advanced technology is. But to us, it's an everyday thing. But to somebody from like feudal times, from medieval times, it's something unfathomable. It's something impossible. It's magic. Like every other chapter in this book series that I'm reading, you get that satisfying reaction of this girl bringing to the table something like that hasn't existed before in this world, and people being awestruck by it and their reactions to it and everything. It's amazing. It's absolutely, like, I love it so much. It's so satisfying to read all of this, and you get that on top of the fact that you get this weak, flawed character who has this advantage going up against a world that is stacked against her. It's that underdog rising the ranks story, just like Code Geass was. It's amazing. It's not freaking Sword Art Online where Kirito was overpowered from the beginning and he was the best guy ever in episode 1, right? This girl is weak and frail and she's like on the verge of death every day because she has like some condition or something. And she has to survive. In earlier in the story in the anime, she has some medical condition that can only be cured with a lot of money, and she has to sell some of her inventions that she took from modern technology. She has to sell some of her inventions in order to get the money in order to keep herself alive. It's amazing. It makes for such a good story. That's what it is. It makes for such a good story. And again, it's not a story for everybody. In fact, it's not a story for the majority of people. I personally get a deep sense of satisfaction from that kind of thing, and most people wouldn't, right? But I've always been somebody who fantasized about, oh, what if I could go in a time machine and show George Washington or show Benjamin Franklin or Abraham Lincoln all of how society has progressed, all of how technology has advanced. They would be awestruck by certain things, right? There's always the concept when you talk about politics and like the Constitution and like the United States. And this is something that comes up quite often. Our forefathers, George Washington and John Adams and all those guys who wrote the Constitution, those guys could not have predicted the existence of the internet, the existence of mass spread of information and ideas. And that's what's driving our politics these days, is that, and I won't get into politics, but it's one of those things where the internet existing has changed the game of politics and has changed the game of democracy. All you have to do is have some somewhat agreeable opinion, twist it in a certain way, and push that on the internet, and all of a sudden you can have half the country agreeing with you. And what happens when half the country agrees with you? Well, they'll all vote the same way you do. And if they all vote the same way you do, then whatever narrative you push, that's what gets done in government. What does that mean? It means you have power. You have power. You can push and you can have whatever idea you want. You can say, okay, I want this. I want the government to do this thing. And then you just make a bunch of advertisements about it on the internet, and everybody will agree with you because it's propaganda, right? It's information being spread, and it can be spread so fast. I mean, you're talking about like Black Lives Matter movement. Half the country wouldn't have cared. But because it got advertised on the internet so much, I mean, within a week of its conception, within a week of somebody trying to push it, half the country was on board with this movement. Half the goddamn country. You're talking about hundreds of millions of people. All because everyone accesses the internet and everyone sees the same thing instantaneously. A post on Reddit can be viewed by the entire country within the day. You make that post about something political, and most people will agree with it, and most people will push the idea. Most people will take ownership of the idea and push it, and then all of a sudden, there's all different kinds of persuasion tactics, right? You look into strategies of coercion, and coercive tactics. And this is a pretty big thing. So the internet just expedites this to infinity. So anyway, the forefathers of our country, the guys who created the United States, there's no way they could have predicted this occurring. There's no way they could have predicted this mass spread of information. So the way that they've written the Constitution was not considering this kind of stuff. So, which is why we have the ability to amend the Constitution. But the Constitution has not seen an amendment for decades, so nothing has changed, even though the internet started existing. Nothing in the structure of government has changed, right? I mean, they're having Congress meetings on Zoom nowadays. That's how far we've come, right? People wouldn't have fathomed that. 30 years ago, people wouldn't have fathomed that. So you're talking 300 years ago. I mean, it's all these things, right? But yeah, anyway, it's an idea that comes up. Times are changing, but they're changing so drastically and so fast. And it's the technology behind it. So, anyway, you introduce that kind of stuff, right? Imagine if in the 1700s they had the internet. You're talking about a time when you're talking about, like, before Morse code was invented. If somebody got elected president, then it would take a month for California to find out about it. Oh, who won the presidency? Well, gee, I don't know. We're gonna have to wait till February to learn that, right? Or not February. Presidents get elected November. We're gonna have to wait till Christmas to find that out, right? It's amazing. You're talking about going from that to, like, I can send a text message to somebody in China about anything and they'll get it in the second. Hey, why do you guys think China has had to censor the internet over there? It's because the flow of information is too great. And so if you want to control any kind of narrative, then you have to stop the flow of information. But the internet doesn't allow you to do that. I mean, why do you guys think Trump was so hated? It's because whatever opinion about hating Trump that was said, it got spread out over the internet. And it got spread out over the internet in a coercive tactic kind of way, to where people agreed with it. Now everybody, 2016, everyone thought Trump was a racist. He wasn't a racist, but somebody took one thing that he said out of context and then just plastered it all over the internet. And then now everybody agreed with it, even though it was a false fact. It's amazing how that can work, right? I'm not saying that's, politically that was good or bad, but it's just, it's scary how that can work. So you want somebody to hate somebody, or you want everybody to hate somebody, just post a thing on the internet about it. People will be gung-ho about it and jump on it. Oh, this person I don't like hurts puppies, I heard one time. Oh no, that guy's bad, says 100 million people. All of a sudden you have everybody doxing him, finding his home address, harassing him at work. It's happened to better people, so. If you guys remember, there was a girl. There was when TikTok first started, there was some famous TikTok dance and some song to go along with it. Anyway, there's this girl in like a Bernie Sanders shirt, I think, and she was doing the dance. And she got really popular. I don't remember who it was or what the song was or what the dance was. God dang it. It was something really popular. Anyway, this one was when first TikTok first started. You guys would know what I'm talking about if I could remember anything about it. She was like internet famous instantly, and she kept that internet fame. But what ended up happening with her was that she offhandedly mentioned that she had a boyfriend on the internet. On the internet, she mentioned she had a boyfriend. And just like that, the flick of a switch, a lot of people ganged up against her. A lot of people started not liking her. And what did they do when they started not liking her because she had a boyfriend? Well, they called her a slut. They called her a whore. They doxed her. They found out where she lived. They found out where she worked. They found out who her boyfriend was. And they found out where he lived and where he worked. And people started sending death threats. People started sending death threats. People started harassing their places of work. People started, sending them suspicious packages in the mail. I don't know if anyone went to their house specifically. But yeah, it got to that level. Anyway, the girl who was planning on like starting a YouTube channel and using her internet popularity to start a YouTube career, which would have been fine and dandy, right? Who knows how successful that would have been, but be it from me to judge, right? Well, anyway, she got so much harassment, and her boyfriend got so much harassment, she had to disappear. I think her boyfriend had to move or something, and then she had to disappear from the internet entirely just to avoid all of the people who hated her and was finding out information about her and stuff. It's scary. It's scary how fast you can find somebody on the internet. It's scary how you can put out a YouTube video and then somebody can find your home address. And it could be a YouTube video about you staring at the corner of your wall, and somebody can find out your home address and how old you are and where you went to high school and all of this information. It's honestly super scary how you can do that. And they can do that in the week. I mean, this isn't like an FBI level, year-long investigation or anything. This is an average guy sitting on his computer in a dark room with normal internet access, and he can do this, and he can find out where you live in a week. It's super scary how that can happen. And people can identify you based off of pictures you post. People can identify you based off of like the IP address that the YouTube video was uploaded from. People can identify you based off of like outside locations, right? It's scary. So anyway, that girl couldn't start her YouTube career. Her entire life was rooted upside down, all because people hated her because she said she had a boyfriend. That's it. That was her only crime. She said she had a boyfriend, and most of her fan base was a bunch of simp guys who wanted to get in her pants, basically, right? As most female entertainers are, unfortunately. Most of the popular girl internet celebrities I've seen are ones who are able to act cute. They're able to either act cute or sexy or whatever, right? And they make it look genuine, and people get on board with that. So, but yeah, anyway. That's the state of the internet. But yeah, anyway, so that girl's whole life got turned upside down. She couldn't start a YouTube career. Unfortunately, boohoo. But that's the level we're at now. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. You guys know, what was it? Back in 2017 or something, when Trump got elected, Shia LaBeouf, I think it was Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, Shia LaBeouf. I mix up Shia LaBeouf with Keanu Reeves. I think Keanu Reeves is a Matrix guy, so I think it was Shia LaBeouf is very anti-Trump. And I could explain to you guys why Hollywood celebrities are anti-Trump. But anyway, that'll take an hour to explain. But there's a whole psychology behind it, by the way. But anyway, Shia LaBeouf, celebrity actor, he's very against Trump. So what he did is he put up a flag that said, like, he will not divide us or something like that. He put up a flag on a flagpole, and he put a camera on a tripod angling up towards the flag. So the only thing you could see is the flagpole, the flag, and the sky. Nothing else. You can't see the ground. You can't see the buildings around the flagpole, or even off in the distance. All you could see is the flagpole and the sky above the flag itself. That's all you could see from this. And he put it up, and it was a live stream. And basically he said, I'm going to keep this live stream up for all of Trump's presidency. He will not divide us, and I'm not going to say the location of this flag, so nobody's going to come and take it down, because I don't want any Trump supporters coming and, ruining this demonstration, right? It's supposed to be a protest, right? Having this flag up, and Shia LaBeouf, who's a popular dude, saying this, right, it'll obviously get attention. So this was all over the news. You guys want to know how long it took for the people on the internet to find where that flag was? It took them 5 days. Mind you, it's a video feed of a flag waving in the wind on a flagpole. You can only see like the top quarter of the flagpole with the flag and the blue sky above it and the clouds. That's all you can see. No grass, no landscapes, no landmarks, no buildings, no nothing, no people. There was no like conversations on the video feed or anything like that. I believe there was audio, but it was like train sounds and the wind blowing and stuff like that. That's all this video was. No indicator about location other than the sky. And people, it took them less than a week to find where this flag was. And one of the people who found it actually went over to that location, and like they vandalized the flag. They put some funny message on it or whatever, I don't know. Or they climbed the flagpole and they were showing off. And they found the camera and they got in front of the camera and started dancing and stuff. It was pretty funny. But yeah, they were doing all sorts of things. 5 days. That's all it took. You guys got to think, how did they find it? They saw the flag in the sky and it, right? That's all that there was, right? On a video feed. Well, apparently, and from what I understood, it was a while ago. First of all, what does the sky tell you? It tells you the kind of weather. It tells you when it rains. It tells you whether it's sunny out, how sunny it is. The patterns of the clouds, right? You can look at what types of clouds are in the sky, right? Are they cumulus? Are they, whatever kind of clouds? You can tell those, and so you can think, okay, this is in America. Where in America is there a clear sunny day with these kind of clouds up? You get a bunch of locations. There's one indicator that narrows it down. Secondly, but I think more importantly, what happens in the sky besides clouds? Airplanes. Somebody would see an airplane fly by. In the video, somebody would see an airplane fly over the flag, right? Just up in the air. Now you can take the entire map of all the flights that are going on on that exact time, see which routes there are, right? People, based off of how the sun rises and sets, already found out what cardinal direction this flag is facing. They already know the direction of the wind because of where this flag is flying, any which way. They've already found out what parts of the country it could be in, which parts have sunny weather at that specific time. What kind of clouds there are narrows it down further. The direction of the wind, and then the airplane flights. If they see an airplane going in a certain direction overhead, they look at all the flights in all of those locations that they have marked, and they just narrow it down. Okay, there's I saw a flight go overhead at like 8:12 in the morning. Where are all the flights at specifically 8:12, and where are their exact locations, and do any of those locations fit into the spots that we have already marked, any of the zones that we've already marked? And then any of those zones we've marked, what direction and how fast was the wind going, right? Because you can, not only with a flag waving can you tell what direction the wind is blowing, but you can also kind of predict how fast it's blowing as well, right? They found all that out. And it took them repeated results, right? Because there's going to be multiple planes flying over within a week-long period. Repeated results, repeated changes in the wind, and people who were monitoring every specific section were able to narrow that down. And they were able to figure it out. And so within the week, some guy went over there and, was doing Fortnite dances in front of the camera. So Shia LaBeouf found that out. He took the flag down, he took his camera away, and he set up the flag in a completely different area in a different part of the country. A week later, somebody's doing Fortnite dances on the live stream. And the flag is vandalized. Shia LaBeouf did it twice, and both times it got found out within the week. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. And the thing that's scary about it too is that if the internet is dedicated, if the people on the internet are dedicated enough, they can use a very minimal amount of information in order to find out anything that they want. They can find out anything that they want. I mean, you guys think about Russian hackers. They are working off of like next to nothing. And they're able to hack into like US elections, which are supposed to be the most cyber secure things on the planet. And a bunch of Russian guys in their basement, on the other side of the planet, can hack into it from their smartphones. It's amazing. It's amazing what they can do. So anyway, there's that. You guys know more recently, during this whole Russia-Ukrainian war, there were volunteer soldiers from like America and other places. Anyway, so these stupid volunteer soldiers, they're Redditors, right? They only do things for internet clout and karma. These stupid soldiers, they had their smartphones. They were posting various things to social media. Things like, hey, I love how, they would take a picture of their entire unit, military unit, and they would, in Ukraine, and they'd be like, hey, I love how all of us are coming together to fight off the evil Russians, and they take a picture of the inside of a building with a bunch of troops and stuff, and they post it to Reddit, or they post it to their Facebook, which gets leaked to Reddit. A few hours later, their exact location gets bombed. Gee, what a coincidence. Another person does it, same thing. This happened like 3 times, I think. Or more than that. I think it happened like 5 times at least last time I checked. These people are posting pictures. Mind you, these aren't giving away specific locations. They aren't, these aren't posts that are chock full of information. They're not even saying what kind of building they're in. They're not saying which city they're in or anything like that. And yet these Russian soldiers are able to do the same thing with the Shia LaBeouf flags, right? These Russian people are looking at these posts on the internet, and you know, the Russian military will get these posts and they'll be like, okay, here's a picture of some stupid redditor in Ukraine. Where are they located? And then within just a few hours, they find the location, they confirm it, and then they bomb it. There were I believe it was five posts about this, where 5 different instances where one of them posted something to Reddit or to social media and they got their unit killed. They themselves got killed because of that. Because of their post, the Russians found out where they were. It's a hazard. These stupid Redditors got people killed, got their own people killed. It's amazing. It's absolutely baffling. And they're still continuing to do it. One post basically alluded to the fact that they were hiding in a school. You know, all the military was in a school, in a Ukrainian like elementary school. Within a few hours, all of the schools in Kyiv were getting bombed. You're talking about like almost 100 people dying because somebody posted a picture on the internet, right? This isn't, you know, Shia LaBeouf puts a flag and then somebody Fortnite dances on the live stream anymore, right? You're killing people because of this. And no, I'm not blaming the Russian soldiers for killing their enemy. I'm blaming these stupid Americans, for these stupid volunteer soldiers, for posting what is essentially military secrets onto the internet. It's amazing. You guys look this up. Redditors getting Ukrainian soldiers killed. This is happening. It's amazing, and I don't think I'm hyping it up enough, but there are people over in Ukraine posting pictures. They'll post a picture, and then that picture gets information extracted from it, and then the place blows up, and the person who took the picture, along with his entire military unit, they all die. I mean, there are pictures of like dead Americans who, you know, under the rubble of an elementary school. Right, and their smartphones there. It's amazing that they're playing around with, you know, oh, I need my internet attention. I need to flex about how brave I am for volunteering to be a Ukrainian soldier. I need to do that on the internet, and then he gets himself killed. He gets more people than just himself killed. It's stupidity. It's absolute stupidity. These people, they're only doing it for the virtue, right? They're only doing it for their reputation. They're virtue signaling. They're thinking, oh, I'm such a good person. Let me brag to everybody about how good and brave and courageous I am for helping these poor Ukrainians with their war effort. And it's that vanity that gets them killed in a war, because they're doing it in the middle of a war against an army of Russians who obviously aren't stupid enough to do that. So it's amazing, and the president of Ukraine had to come out and tell his soldiers, don't post military secrets onto social media. I mean, the fact that you have to do that during a fucking war is like, it's disgusting. It's disgusting that you have to remind people, hey, don't get yourselves killed during this war. Hey, don't be spreading military secrets during a war. But again, it's well, first of all, it's vanity, and I think the vanity people virtue signaling and thinking that, I need to make myself look like such a morally good person. I think that's a consequence of the internet. But more so the fact that the internet allows us to do this, right? The internet has completely changed warfare in general. And this is something you wouldn't have seen 50 years ago. We didn't have smartphones 50 years ago. We didn't have smartphones 20 years ago. So there's no way that... Who is this? And so there's no way that this would have happened. There's no way anybody even 20 years ago would have thought about this, right? We fought in Iraq after 9/11. So that was about 2002 that we started our war in Iraq, and we really ramped that up. That lasted 10 years. But anyway, we didn't have smartphones during then. And even when they did come out with smartphones, it was very early on. So obviously we had cell phones. But the military people weren't allowed to have their cell phones because they're trained military combatants. Now we have Redditors from the internet fighting our wars for us. And next decade we're going to have Zoomers fighting our wars for us. What are they going to be posting? My God. And the thing is, it's not the generation's fault, I don't think. It's more so the people who are doing it, right? The people who are virtue signaling. And I've seen it here in the States. I've seen it in my own area. People are focused on their internet profile. People are focused on how good of a reputation they can get. How much attention can they bring to themselves? That's an important value here, and I see it in kids. I've seen teenagers get stressed out about how many likes they can get on their Instagram post. I'm thinking, who fucking cares, right? When I was going to high school, nobody cared about that. People had Facebook, I guess. And if you got in some Facebook drama, then sure, that was a big thing. But nobody cared about likes. Nobody cared about, their own reputation online. Unless you did something, egregious. But that was it. Most people socialized in school. Most people didn't stay on their smartphones when I was in high school. But nowadays, I'm assuming that's different, right? Teenagers, a big talking point for teenagers these days, I'm assuming, is that, oh, did you see that new Instagram post? Oh, did you see that new TikTok trend? Oh, I got 20 likes on my Instagram post. Oh my God, girl, you're so popular. Oh, I saw you haven't posted on Instagram in 3 days. Are you okay? Is something going on? It's an abnormality not to spend every waking moment on your smartphone. It's an abnormality not to spend every waking moment on social media of getting validation because everyone else is doing it. So why don't you? Are you a weirdo or something? It's that mentality. And how do you get internet popularity? How do you boost up your reputation? Well, besides doing something really good, which most people won't ever do, most people use the artificial method of just virtue signaling. I'm better because I like this or whatever. You make a post on Facebook or Instagram saying, I hate racists, or I hate transphobic people, or I hate homophobic people, or anything like that, or I support gay rights, or I support trans rights, or whatever, right? And you post the stupid rainbow flag on it. You'll get a bunch of likes, instantly. Because obviously other people are going to like that, because obviously everybody has to be tolerant with each other, right? But it's not about tolerance anymore. It's not about the actual issue that's being talked about anymore. It's am I saying something that everybody else will agree with? Am I saying something that makes me look like a morally good person? That's what virtue signaling is. You guys will hear about this concept of virtue signaling for probably the rest of your lives, probably the rest of my life at least, because this is something that's going on. It's virtue signaling. People are trying to make themselves look good by saying things that are morally good, right? Hey, I don't think killing and stealing is good. fuck cancer, right? You guys have heard the term fuck cancer, right? Like, yeah, no shit. Like, oh my god. Like, yeah, obviously, oh, there's something that's killing people. Well, I don't like that thing. Yeah, gee Willikers, what a revolutionary statement. We should make you president. Like, my god. And yet, that's the kind of post that will get a bunch of likes and get people, noticed. And that's the thing. That's what will get people noticed, is by saying these obvious, agreeable statements. Now, obviously, fuck cancer won't work in the current year, but that worked 5 years ago. Post a sad story about how you saw a homeless person and you just had to give them food because you can't stand seeing other people suffer in this world. And even though I'm privileged and live in a middle class family, I don't look down on homeless people just for having less than I do. And I want to give back to other people who are less fortunate, because I shouldn't be the only one who lives a life of comfort and convenience. There you go. I just made it. I just made a generic Instagram post that would get hundreds of likes. Why is that going to get hundreds of likes? Because people are fucking idiots. They're just circle jerking with each other at this point. It's like, oh yeah, you're such a good person, man. I agree with you, man. You're such a good person. I'm such a good person too for agreeing with you. Oh my god, I totally see what you mean. You're such a good person. It's virtue signaling. It's virtue signaling, and it's insane. It's absolute insanity. And I think maybe it's not insane. It's stupidity. And I truly mean it is stupidity. How stupid do you have to be to fall for that shit? Like, obviously, everybody agrees with these opinions. Yeah, don't kill people. Don't steal from people. Maybe give to charity. I don't know if, yeah. Yeah, poor people and sick people exist. Whoopee-doo, right? Let's try to help them a little bit. Whoopee-doo, right? But if you're using them as a medium, you're basically, with what I'm describing, you're using them as a tool in order to make yourself look good. Are you in the soup kitchens every day? No, you're fucking not. You're not. You're not at the homeless shelters helping them. You're not donating half of your income to them. You're not, working on a non-profit charity group for them. You're not doing shit. What are you doing? You're browsing Instagram. That's what you're doing. You're browsing Instagram and you helped them once. Maybe it was true that you helped them once, but fucking you're going to use that as like a virtue signal for the rest of your life. You guys know what I'm talking about. Even if you guys aren't these kind of people, you guys know people who do this. Who they do a good deed and they have to spend the next week bragging about the fact that they did a good deed. They have to, and they have to make it this big dramatic issue too. Oh, I just saw a homeless person sitting on the sidewalk and he looked so sad and hungry, and I just went into the grocery store and I bought him a big old sandwich, and I sat next to him and I talked to him for 10 minutes about his problems, because I just couldn't ignore the suffering of another human being, because we're all human beings. And I think, let's throw in religion in there, I think God put us all on this earth to be equal, and it's a crying shame, it's an injustice that people like the homeless person that I fed aren't able to live the same lives as us. So please, even if you don't have much to spare, just give a little bit of your time and money to the unfortunate, because they might need it a lot more than just like I did. And I'm thinking, like, what a fucking crybaby. Like, geez, you won Drama Queen of the Year in high school, good job. Like, holy shit. Obviously, homeless people, that's an unfortunate situation. Yeah, you can help them all you want, right? I'll buy a homeless person a sandwich and a bottle of water and talk to him for 30 minutes if he wants me to. Sure, whatever, right? I'll go volunteer in a freaking kitchen. I should have been volunteering this whole time, to be honest, but whatever. They make it so hard to volunteer these days. It's ridiculous. So you have to fill out... did you guys know you have to fill out what's the equivalent of like a job application in order to become a volunteer. I'm not going through if I had the energy to fill out a job application in order to start volunteering, then I would fill out my actual job applications for my actual jobs because I need the money, right? It's but it's a bunch of bogus, right? It's what these people are saying. It's virtue signaling. That's what it is. Even if they are truly good people, the fact that they're bragging about it means that they're virtue signaling. They are signaling to other people that they are virtuous. They are a good, morally correct, generous, good hearted, good willed person. Good, 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 good. And other people will agree with the fact that they are good and they'll give them a like on Facebook. And you damn well know that these people, when they tell you that they've done something good, then they are also posting it to Facebook and they're also telling the next 50 people they encounter. They'll tell the person who's standing in line with them at the grocery store about how good they were. Oh, I see you're buying that sandwich. That's the same kind of sandwich I gave to the homeless person last week. Like, give me a fucking break. Like, please give me a break. This is so, it's annoying. It's what it is. It's annoying. And the thing is, people can do good deeds. I'm all for people doing good deeds. They're better people than I am. Even these people who are virtue signaling are doing more than I am. But the thing is, what they're doing is they're using it to boost up their own reputation and to make themselves look good in front of other people. Would they do the good deed if there was no way for them to be noticed? That's up for debate. And honestly, I don't think that question matters. I think what matters is that there is a huge focus on making yourself look good because of the way that our culture is structured right now. There is a huge emphasis on trying to draw attention to yourself. I think that's the big problem, and I think it's a huge problem with human beings in general. I need a protein bar. First off, I need a protein bar. Oh, God. Ah, God, it's so hot today. Holy crap. Who called me? CVS Pharmacy. Your prescription is now available. I gotta go to the bathroom, guys. One free burrito with a $15 purchase? I don't think so. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and get some food, guys. Be back. Yeah, da, da, da. Eat battleships. Eat battleships. Alright guys, I'm back. Got some Chinese food. Kinda wanna watch something my own whilst I eat. I wanna read. That'd be nice. So I'm gonna go on Reddit on my phone, I suppose. Bam, 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 bam. Kiwi, you're so furry. You're so furry. And in those dying eyes, I wanna see. Kiwi, what? Hmm? She's sitting here begging and purring. I'd have nothing for her. I have nothing for you, Kiwi. But I can't give you the chicken. It's lathered in... It's orange chicken. I can't really remove the chicken from the orange, and I don't want to give you citrus. I wonder if it's okay to give cats the orange chicken. I'm never going to this game, am I? Guys, I'm going to play this game all weekend, so... I'm just eating Chinese food right now. My 6-year-old son is morbidly obese and eats snacks while watching TV all day, but he loves food so much and doesn't care about being fat. Should I put him on a diet? My immediate thought is you could try being an actual parent for once. You know, someone who sets limits for the good of their kid rather than takes the easy way out. Do you not know how to turn off the TV? Do you not understand that you're supposed to know better than the child, and your job is to lead them down the correct path? Do you not know that children want and need boundaries in order to make them feel secure? It always seems really weird to me that you need a license to fish, but any idiot can have a child. Dude, there are people beating their kids, alright? I don't think, like, that's the worst thing. I mean, beating your kids is the worst thing, but, yeah, no, there's, God, parenting, there's so many things that you can do incorrectly when you parent, and there's only a few things that you can do that will actually result in something good. So, and I mean, you can find you can find flaws in any parenting style. So, I mean, it depends on the person. So, it all comes back to, consider what the child needs. If the child needs discipline and rules in order to get them on the right track, to not be spoiled, and so be it. But if the kid needs freedom in order to explore and interact with the world so that they're prepared as an adult, and you need to be hands off, then give it to them if that's what they need, right? It differs between kid from kid. That post that I just read, the kid's pigging out on snacks and he watches TV all day. Obviously, that kid needs a little direction, right? He's 6 years old, but a kid needs a good parent when they're growing up. But there's a certain point where the kid doesn't need, or there's a certain point where the kid doesn't need the discipline and the hand holding anymore. Obviously, if you've done a shit job as a parent, then the kid's probably not going to like you, regardless of how you've been as a parent, or regardless of what kind of shit job you've done. The kid's probably not going to like you. Sometimes the best thing you can do as a parent, especially when you failed as a parent, is to just let your kid go out and just let your kid go out into the world when they're an adult or whatever. Just let them fail. I mean, failure is the mother of success. And that holds true. Because, like, if a kid goes out and fails, then the failure will do its job teaching him probably more than the parent did. I mean, a big part of life is failing. I failed my fair share of times. I still haven't faced the ultimate difficulties of life that I think everyone should, but I mean, I've gone through enough to where I know what's going to happen if I don't do certain things. So, and whether you learn that when you're 12 or when you're 30, doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but it's obviously certainly will matter. But you'll eventually learn it, right? Well, if you're mama's boy and you're relying on your parents for everything, eventually your parents are going to die, right? Your parents go before you do. A long time before you do. At least, 20 years before you do, so. Well, you'd hope so. In any case. But if your parents go before you do, then, and you've relied on them your whole life, all of a sudden you don't have your parents who you're so dependent on anymore, right? Well, that sucks. You're gonna have to stand on your own 2 feet. Don't care if you're 45 years old and you've never, worked a job in your life, or you've never, had to, wash your own dishes or cook your own food or anything like that. You gotta figure it out. My mom stopped cooking food for me when I was like 10. She got estranged from my father, but she wasn't going to cook food anymore. So she went to work. She went to work, and I, as a 10-year-old, only had a freezer full of stuff in it. And I had to figure that out. And I had to do it myself. I had to do it for my sister, who's younger than me, who's disabled. And so it's like, you're gonna figure it out, right? I was thrown in the deep end as far as food goes. I never learned how to properly cook. That would have been nice. But, whatever. What can you do, right? I don't know. Being a parent is tough, sure. But also, being a parent is something you're not allowed to screw up. Because if you screw it up, you're a bad parent. Right? Typically, you have a lot of leeway. I think the truly bad parents are not the ones who screw up, but they're the ones who don't. They're the ones who continually screw up over and over again. When you do something once, it's a mistake. When you do it multiple times, it's intentional. And so if you're a parent and your kid turns out bad, there's the rare case that the kid was going to turn out bad anyway, and they were born as a psychopath or whatever, right? But we're not talking about that. For the most part, if you're a parent and your kid turns out bad, then that's on you. Because that means that not only did you parent incorrectly, but you had years and years to correct your parenting style. The kid's not going to respond to you if you spoil them. The kid's not going to respond to you if you're strict with them and beat them with a belt every night. The kid's not going to respond to you if you make them feel guilty for existing every single time there's a problem. Right? There's a number of things. And it depends on the kid. Some kids need a little spoiling because they're, insecure and they just want someone to love them. Some kids need a little strictness because they're spoiled brats and they think they can get away with anything. Some kids are arrogant and cocky and so they need the guilt and a little bit of like emotional abuse or emotional trauma in order to humble them, But it's up to the parent, who is an adult and who can think logically, to work to enhance the kid's good traits and counteract the kid's bad traits. That's the job of a parent. And a conscious parent who knows their kid, as you should, by a certain point, by the time they're 3 years old, you should know your kid pretty well. Because you've had 3 years to deal with them, not to mention the entirety of your adult life to plan for this. You should know your kids well enough to where you know what they need from you as a parent, and what they don't need from you as a parent, and to adjust to that. Because like everything else in life, it's something to adjust to. You adapt. And you make one mistake a year, sure, whatever, right? You make one mistake a month, sure, whatever, right? Can't help it, you're human. You're not perfect. You're probably as much of a spoiled brat as a kid is. But if you're coming home and you're making that mistake every day, there's something wrong with you. It's intentional at that point. Because you're not stopping yourself from doing it. You're doing something bad and you're not stopping yourself, right? A lot of criminals get lighter sentences or they get forgiven on the first try. It's called a misdemeanor. That's what you get when you don't get the full force of the punishment. Sometimes misdemeanors are pretty harsh depending on how severe the crime is, right? You can't go out and kill somebody and say it was a mistake. They might give you a misdemeanor for murder, but it's still going to be half your life in jail. But with other things, right? You make a mistake, it's forgivable. But if you do it again and again and again and again, even after you know that it's bad, or other people know that it's bad, but you try to sit there and justify to yourself that's good, then you're intentionally inflicting harm upon your kid. I mean, that's the cut and dry. That's the cut and dry of it. If you're a completely hands-off parent and your kid ends up being a spoiled brat, as an adult, you've done harm unto them because you have set them up you have let them grow up with a mentality that is going to disadvantage them later in life. If you're a helicopter parent and you're super strict and your kid can't go outside ever, then you have harmed your kid because you have not allowed them to learn what it takes to survive. If you're a parent and you force your kid out when they don't need to, or when it's an implicit danger to them, and you don't teach them alternative solutions, then you're a bad parent and you're inflicting harm on them because you're causing them stress and suffering when it doesn't need to be, because maybe they're not the kind of kid who can be in those kind of situations, right? You have to consider it. You have to consider, what are the kids bad? What does the kid need to survive? Does the kid need to be a social butterfly? No, he doesn't. But does the kid get to sit in front of the TV and snack out all day for the rest of his life? Well, no, he doesn't. Well, maybe. I don't know. There are people who do it and they survive, so whatever, right? I mean, you can get disability benefits for being too fat. So, I mean, whatever, right? And they'll give you enough food stamps. I mean, they won't give you enough to feed yourself off of how much you pig out, but you use your other government paychecks to pay for your McDonald's. That's whatever. It's silly. It's absolutely silly. Oh. Meow, meow, meow. I'll try to get you a piece of chicken. I'll try to get you a piece of chicken too. There's hardly on the piece. Most of this is batter. I apologize if you guys can hear my chewing. It's probably gross. Trying to... There you go. Here we go. Now she got some chicken. Whatever. Chinese food, they really don't... They give you a lot of little pieces, but they fry the heck out of them. So much cholesterol. That each individual piece doesn't have... It has a lot of flavoring, but not a whole lot of meat. Which is why Chinese food tastes so good. It's not the most healthy thing, though. But if you want a little fat on your belly, Chinese food's perfect. Just can't eat it every day, right? I don't think I could eat Chinese food every day. I'd get sick of it. Need variety. That's the one thing. If I move to Japan, if I win the lottery and I move to Japan, I was thinking about this. I was thinking, what kind of business could I open up in Japan? Because if I win the lottery, in order to get in Japan, you have to start a business with a certain amount of money. I think it's like 50 grand. It's relatively cheap. What kind of business would I start? My first thought was ramen shop. Actually, my first thought was a laundromat, to be honest. I was like, okay, I could make a really pristine laundromat for all the people who are staying at like love hotels and stuff. But most places have laundry machines in them. Even like manga cafes have laundry machines in it. I don't know why. But I mean, people use them, so whatever. I don't think that would work. So I was thinking ramen shop. I would love to run a ramen shop, but the thing is, I would have to be the one doing the ramen, because people don't want to work in a ramen shop, and there's too many ramen shops over there. Obviously, it's Japan. So I was thinking, okay, what else? Well, I need to think like an American. What can I bring from America to Japan? What's the most exotic thing that's still like a popularized American thing that I can bring to Japan that they probably don't have in Japan, or they probably don't have in the city I'm going to? Mexican restaurant. That's what it is. That's what it'll be. I'll run a Mexican restaurant. I am not Mexican. I am the furthest from a Mexican. Mexican restaurant. Very nice. Oh. Mmm. Ooh, a little sweet. Kiwi. Chicken? Kiwi, I have to prep it for you. Oh my god, no, I can't give you the whole piece. I can't give you the whole... I can't give you the whole piece, Kiwi. I have to get off the batter as much as I can. No! Kiwi, she's climbing on my arms. She's like trying to climb on my plate. Try to get it. Oh my god. Yeah, I'll give it to you. Just give me a second. Okay. Now I can give it to you. Oh. Now I can give it to you. Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, you bit the whole thing. You didn't take the whole thing, but you bit it. Hey, you want the rest of it? Come on, it's on my fork. There you go. Anyway, I want to I want to make a Mexican restaurant in Japan. That sounds fun. Oh. Where's my phone? Okay, there's. Yeah, junk files. Oof. Drink the lime. Dum, dum. Bam, 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 bam. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. What the? Who is this? Cal Optima is hosting 3 COVID-19 vaccine clinics on Saturday in April. Pfizer, Moderna vaccines and boosters are available for you. We're serving ages 5 and over. Ugh, 5 and over. I think little kids don't need the vaccine, from what I understand. Oh, I don't know exactly. Oh my god. Streaming. Give me a sec, guys. I'm gonna check something. God, it's so flippin' hot. Holy crap. I'm gonna play some Rocket League on my phone. Oh, coconut shrimp is so good. No, my phone. Yeah, I'm not gonna have time to start the game. But I can play Rocket League on my phone. Rocket League. Oh my god. Is that her? Thinking of. So I gotta go with my mom to get the books, and then I have to return the books that. Or the Amazon book that I got. So. She gets to pick up my. The Barnes& and Noble and the Kohl's are nearby, so. It's within walking distance, so. She's going to the Barnes& and Noble to get my books, and then I'm going to the Kohl's to return my old book. And so then when... So, I mean, I said an hour to an hour and a half. It should only take us like 30 minutes, honestly, but I have like no idea. Yeah, I'm just compensating for like other things. Plus, I'm gonna want to flip through both books to make sure that these weren't misprinted as well. Is that the door? I can't even tell. God dang it, the match didn't start. Ugh, I'm gonna have to find another match. I showed you guys, I streamed to you guys the Rocket League phone game. Right, it's called Rocket League Side Sweep, I think. Side Swap. Side Swipe. Side Sweep. It's like a Street Fighter move. Do the side sweep. Anyway, I've gotten a newfound love for this game. I think it has to do. It has something to do with the fact that I suck at regular Rocket League now. Like I keep whiffing. God, I'm. I try to play Rocket League on the PlayStation. I keep whiffing like all my shots. It's so bad. I'm so bad at the game now. I can't. Like I lost a certain amount of skill. I have no idea. What happened. So anyway, I get raged at like every other match by my team or by my teammate. The last match that I played on that, my teammate, like I missed like maybe 3 shots and a couple saves throughout the game, which is quite a bit. And so, and so my teammate just typed in the chat. He's like, "Teammate, you absolute Neanderthal." And so I was like, okay. So I left them. It was halfway through the match, which yes, I had made that many mistakes halfway through the match, and so I was just like, okay, screw it. So I force quit the game, and I just I just force quit the game, and I closed out of it, and that was like a week ago. So I was kind of peeved about that. Like at the time, I knew I was screwing up, and so that's why the comment ticked me off so much, because I knew that it was kind of deserved. Yeah, you could always say like, oh, people, oh, people shouldn't be mean or whatever, even if you're listening. And I kind of agree with that. I'm not gonna rage at somebody unless they're like, it's intentional. Like they're going AFK or something. It's like, okay, it's obvious, right? But hey, we won that match. I mean, close match. Oh yeah, I hardly did anything that match. Good. But yeah, it's just what was I saying? Oh yeah, like I'm used to it at this point. I don't know. I find some of the comments funny. I think that guy who I was playing with, who was streaming, actually told me to uninstall the game. So the thing is, I'm playing. It's like if you start playing Rocket League, you're gonna be at the beginner with all the people who suck, and it's like, okay, well, if anybody rages at you, it's like they suck too. Everybody at like bronze and silver rank suck. They can't do anything. They don't know how to play the game. It's fine, which is totally fine, right? Your first 100 matches are gonna be difficult, or you're gonna suck. The thing is, I'm playing at a diamond rank because last season in Rocket League I got to diamond, and so I'm playing with diamond level players. And these are the guys who try hard. These are the guys who know a little bit more on how to play the game, but they don't know all the advanced strats, and they want to. They're at the point where it's like, okay, they've tried hard enough to where they want to rank up and they want to perform extremely well because that's what they've put an effort towards. And here I am, claiming to be, it basically just looks like I bought a diamond level account because, I play like a gold player. Pretty much. I miss like a lot of my shots. I miss a lot of my shots. I've been getting bad angles. It's like I'm missing ball hits in Rocket League that I used to be able to get. That's that's the bad thing. Is that like 3 months ago I was able to perform exceptionally well at the game, and now I suck. And it's not necessarily because of the people I'm up against, because the people I'm up against are pretty much the same. It's my specific mechanical skills, right? It's not the players I'm playing with or against or anything. So, because that's not the parts that I'm messing up on. Because those are the parts that I like. I like having different teammates who have different skills and strategies and working around them. And I also like, God, we have not scored a goal yet. No, 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 no. And I also like, facing off against different teammates or different opponents because they bring, a certain play style and stuff. And I get to, through their gameplay, I get to know exactly, how they're going to, how the enemy is going to react and like what kind of play style does the enemy have and all of that. So, and how can I work around it? That's the strategic part to it, right? It's like playing chess. I love it. But because you get to know your opponent's skill level and their strategy through watching them play. I think that's great. And it's a fun aspect to it. And you guys think about like my like Rocket League, it's how much skill and strategy, or how much strategy can there be to freaking car soccer, right? It's like there's a lot of strategy. You guys think about regular soccer, right? Regular real life soccer has a lot of strategy to it. Hey, there's my win. I got 18 points that whole. Wow, I didn't. That's like I didn't even play. But yeah, regular soccer has a lot of strategy. Teammate placement, enemy placement. I mean, there's a reason why there's different like regions and stuff, or there's different like positions on a soccer field. The same thing with like football, and same thing with baseball and all of that, right? Baseball is kind of set in stone. Football is not really anything. It's like there's just a line of people. There's not much to it. Football changes based off of varying circumstances. That's what football is. Soccer, baseball is kind of more of a static game, but soccer starts off spread out already, and then the situation changes, but there's a flow to it. Makes soccer. That's what sets soccer apart, is that there's a flow to the game. That's why people like soccer over other things. I'm not saying everybody likes soccer over with other things, but soccer is different in that aspect. Anyway, so Rocket League takes the same aspect from soccer. It's a very fluid game, and there is strategy to the fluidity. Put yourself in a correct position in order to do well, or in order to be there when you need to be. You know. Especially with Rocket League, when you know there's only 2 or 3 people on a team, but it's a big field. Everybody has their role. I only have one tooth that I need to floss. It's very nice. What challenges are there? Okay, just need to play one more match. I might have to go in a minute here, guys. Threes. Otaskini. Oh my god, he put it under me. No, that was my bad. Do do do. Otaskinakcha. Dang it. That would have gone in if the enemy wasn't there. What a save. I think they flipped it up too much. Wow. Noise. Guys, I'm gonna go stream here in a minute once this is over, so that I can be ready to go. Especially since I can't really start a mission. Ah, god dang it. He friggin' bounced it. Bomb Trady. That's one of the guys' names. Bomb Trady. Tom Brady. Season 1 gold. Where did he come from? Oh, that would have flicked in. Come on, bros. What? Wow. If we're gonna got popped up. Oh my gosh. Oh, what a save. Oof. Oh my god. What a save. No, blue. Go, go, go. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow, that's not that. That's freaking game. Da! Wow, I actually won that. I won that for. I got that last kill. I got that last shot. Very nice. Very nice. Yes. I got the happy face sticker. Yes, now I can rudely socialize with everybody. Where we are. And a quick chat. Quick chat. Nice. Okay. Alright, place. Good luck. Have fun with a happy face. There we go. Your final turbo text is kind of yada yada. Okay. Let me check my. I can't tell. I can't. Alright guys, I'm gonna head off stream. I'm not going yet, but I'm gonna head off stream. Because I'm not doing anything particular. But yeah. Yeah. Anyway guys, I hope you all enjoyed. I'll be back in like an hour and a half. Definitely by 4 o'clock for sure. So I'll stream a little bit 4 to 7. So we'll see. I might play Maneater or I might play Rocket League. We'll see. It depends. But yeah. Anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll be back in a little bit, in a couple hours here. See ya. Hope you all enjoyed. That's gonna do for me, guys. Do my outro. That's gonna do for me, guys. This has been BigPasta Gaming. You guys have been a little pasta watching. And I will see you all in a couple hours. Bye-bye, everybody. Be back. Be back later. Take care. Definitely by 4. For sure. But yeah, bye-bye.